Take this. Tiger Claw Bow. In an instant, Huang Lei showed no hesitation. His body bent like a tiger preparing to strike, and his brilliant yellow Do Qi erupted, immediately launching an attack at Mu Shi. Whoosh! Rings of Do Qi ripples, like waves of the tide, spread out from Huang Lei's palm, quickly forming a natural bow and arrow in front of him. With a sharp aura, it shot toward Mu Shi. Such a powerful attack. This guy's strength is truly as impressive as the rumors say. Without any hesitation, Mu Shi quickly reacted. Her mental energy moved, and dazzling power exploded outward, with threads of silver spatial energy surrounding her, casting a mysterious aura around her. She remained alert, watching Huang Lei closely. Go! Huang Lei also showed no hesitation, slapping his palm. The terrifying bow and arrow in his hand shot out like lightning, with a destructive aura, rapidly targeting Mu Shi. Space binding. Boom! Mu Shi let out a cold grunt. In an instant, the silver spatial energy collided with the arrow, halting its advance. Hum, hum, hum. The seemingly powerful energy arrow, under the spatial binding, couldn't move an inch. The two forces clashed, gradually dissipating. The powerful fluctuations from their attacks made the entire space feel dry, and the tension in the air intensified with a pungent, gunpowder-like smell. On the other side, Xiao Yan had completed the formation stone and array patterns, but did not rush to act. He donned a black robe, concealing his figure completely. Since Mu Shi and Huang Lei were engaged in battle, he decided to retrieve the cage first and deal with them later. This guy. Seeing that Mu Shi was temporarily entangled with Huang Lei, Feng Ling wasted no time. He swiftly moved, easily bypassing Mu Shi to reach the cage that contained the power of the human-ghost hybrid. This is the human-ghost hybrid? It doesn't seem that different. Feng Ling gazed at the cage, his eyes filled with surprise. Inside the cage, the young man's body emitted a faint, dark ghostly energy, and behind that ghostly aura, it seemed there was another presence. It was this dual nature of power that made even Feng Ling feel a sense of fear. At this moment, the young man sat cross-legged, his eyes half closed, with no movement or words, simply sitting in the cage. The surroundings were surrounded by powerful prohibitions, making his face show signs of discomfort. Forget it. I'll take it back first. Without hesitation, Feng Ling extended his palm. Brilliant Do Qi energy poured out as he aimed at the cage, trying to break it with one strike. Bang, bang, bang. Even though Feng Ling was cautious, the moment his palm touched the cage, a sharp pain suddenly surged, and the energy dissipated instantly. The cage, however, remained completely intact. Boom! Before Feng Ling could react, a strange red fire curtain appeared, pulling both him and the cage into it. While Huang Lei and Mu Shi didn't even notice Feng Ling's disappearance. Damn it! What is this thing? Feng Ling, although at the half-step 3-star Do Xian level, had a keen sense of smell. When he tried to break the cage, something immediately pulled him inside. The place he found himself in resembled an ancient volcano, with molten magma flowing everywhere. Strange energy waves surged rapidly. The power of the formation itself was a separate space, and the user could pull anyone into it, provided they did so without detection. You bastard! As Feng Ling looked again at the cage, he saw a figure cloaked in black, seemingly unremarkable except for the massive ruler-like weapon on its back. Humph! The black-robed figure sneered, and suddenly, the surrounding magma exploded with intense heat, rushing toward Feng Ling. It was none other than Xiao Yan. Whoosh! With Xiao Yan's manipulation, the Purgatory formation easily trapped a 3-star Do Xian, leaving Feng Ling struggling to deal with the array. Xiao Yan walked up to the cage and began carefully inspecting it. What is your name? Xiao Yan's tone was calm, though there was a hint of fervor hidden beneath. This was the first time he had come into such close contact with a fellow tribesman in the Great Thousand Worlds. Xiao Gui. As soon as Xiao Yan spoke, the young man in the cage slowly opened his eyes and fixed his gaze on Xiao Yan. Where are your parents? Xiao Yan asked again. They're dead. Forget it. I'll take you out of here first. After a moment, Xiao Yan stopped asking questions and his aura became intense, surging within him. This cage contains an extremely powerful restriction. The young man said slowly, "Soul power." Xiao Yin nodded slowly, and then, a brilliant surge of soul power erupted like a volcano, slamming into the cage. Boom, boom, boom. The colorless, formless soul power collided with the cage, but there was no reaction. It seemed as if even the soul power had been devoured. Damn! Fengling was fending off the extreme flames in the Purgatory formation while keeping a watchful eye on Xiao Yan's every move. He immediately growled in frustration. Where's Fengling? Outside, Huang Lei and Mu Shi were locked in a fierce battle, neither giving an inch. Huang Lei swept his gaze around, and suddenly realized that both Fengling and the cage were missing. All that remained where their figures had been was a subtle disturbance on the ground, causing him to be greatly alarmed. "Huang Lei, how about we stop for now? Once we take care of that guy, we can continue the fight," Mu Shi said, noticing the subtle disturbance on the ground as well. "All right." The two agreed without hesitation. Their auras erupted as they rushed toward the ground. A formation occupies a certain space, covering the original space with its array. So, as soon as they headed toward the ground, they were immediately pulled into Xiao Yan's formation. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, their bodies were forcefully pulled into Xiao Yan's formation. "You little brat, it really is you." The moment they entered the Purgatory formation, an extremely terrifying fluctuation arose. But when Mu Shi saw Xiao Yan in his black robe, his instincts immediately told him that this was the same person who had been reprimanded by the elders back at the Eastern Continent faction, and now that they had encountered him here, he would not let him go so easily. "This is troublesome." Xiao Yan slowly glanced up at the three people above, then smiled. However, the so-called trouble only referred to breaking the cage. As for the two mid-stage 3-star Do Xian in front of him, trying to defeat him in his own formation was as futile as trying to smash a rock with an egg. "Attack together and obliterate this guy. Then we'll merge into a human-ghost hybrid and send it to you," Mu Shi said with a smile. "In that case, I'll comply," Xiao Yan said with a smile. Double power burst. In an instant, Huang Lei roared, and strange waves began to emanate from his body. His strength surged to another level. Just in time to test the power controlled by the Purgatory formation's formation stones and inscriptions, Xiao Yan said, momentarily pausing his attempt to break the cage. A diamond-shaped stone slowly appeared in his hand. However, on this seemingly small stone, there were as many as 34,000 formation inscriptions. "This guy's diamond-shaped stone is quite something." Huang Lei's expression turned serious. Despite his now formidable body strength, he felt uneasy in the presence of the extreme fiery power within the Purgatory formation, not to mention the strange formation stone in Xiao Yan's hand, which gave him an unsettling feeling. Attack together. Though Mu Shi was arrogant, now that he was inside Xiao Yan's formation, he didn't dare to underestimate him. He snorted coldly. "Good." The moment his voice fell, the two of them moved again, launching brilliant attacks toward Xiao Yan. Elephant strength. Without hesitation, Huang Lei unleashed a burst of dazzling energy, and a phantom of a giant elephant appeared around him. As a specialist in body arts, his strength rose another level as the elephant-shaped phantom materialized. Battle soul? Xiao Yan was slightly surprised upon seeing this. "No, it's not a battle soul. Although this is similar to a battle soul, it's still far from it," Xiao Yan said, shaking his head. The enormous soul power within him allowed him to perceive things with great clarity. "Take this." Huang Lei's aura soared as he tightly clenched his fist. Empowered by the giant elephant phantom, a terrifying force surged from his fist, creating a terrifying energy blast aimed straight at Xiao Yan. Boom! What seemed like a simple attack contained enough power to annihilate a similarly ranked opponent. A sharp energy gust shot toward Xiao Yan. "Here we go." Xiao Yan couldn't help but laugh as he saw this. With a flick of his wrist, the formation stone in his hand was instantly absorbed into the Purgatory formation. The moment the stone entered, the formation seemed to come to life. Bang! 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 Huang Lei's attack was indeed fierce, but as he drew closer to Xiao Yan's gaze became ethereal. In the blink of an eye, that dazzling attack easily passed through him, as though it had no substance, and was quickly consumed by the flames that swirled behind him. How is this possible? Huang Lei's expression twisted in disbelief. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't comprehend how Xiao Yin could be so powerful. In my formation, I am the king. Xiao Yan's arrogant voice suddenly echoed throughout the formation space. Whoosh! As Xiao Yan's voice reverberated, torrents of scorching, fiery red flames began to converge from all directions within the formation. This guy's formation is troublesome, Huang Lei muttered, his brow furrowing. He specialized in physical arts, and his strength was unmatched. The sheer power behind his attacks gave them destructive force that was difficult for ordinary people to fathom. But within this formation, Xiao Yan's body could transform into any strand of flame. Therefore, Huang Lei's attacks couldn't land, and he was restricted by the formation. Spatial binding. Mushi nodded slowly, her expression growing serious. Silver energy gathered around her as she prepared her next move. Only by restraining Xiao Yin can Huang Lei deliver his strongest blow. Otherwise, they have no chance of defeating him. Flame Dragon, come forth. With a loud roar, a massive flame dragon, nearly 100 meters long, materialized in the formation space with a powerful burst. Roar, roar, roar. As soon as the fire dragon appeared, it sent the flames within the formation soaring to new heights. Bind them, Mushi shouted in urgency. Within this purgatory formation, the flames were constantly threatening to engulf them, forcing them to remain on high alert. If they allowed the flames to spread unchecked, their bodies would suffer severe internal injuries. Dragon's breath. Xiao Yin smiled coldly. Roar, roar, roar. At his command, the flame dragon opened its mouth wide and released torrents of fiery red flames. These flames surged forward with unstoppable force. And what made them even more terrifying was that this flame was no ordinary fire. It was the power of the great heavenly seed. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Mushi's face twisted in frustration as her dazzling spatial energy dissipated. She could only protect herself from Xiao Yan's overwhelming flames. After all, the flames of the great heavenly seed, amplified by the formation, had risen to an entirely new level of power. This is really bad luck. Huang Lei cursed under his breath. Fengling, we're leaving. Huang Lei's gaze turned sinister. He shot a glance at Xiao Yin, who was like an invincible war god above them. His desire to imprison the human-demon hybrid faded away. Instead, he cursed quietly. At this point, Xiao Yin, with the advantage of so many formation inscriptions, was nearly invincible within his own formation. Unless his opponent's strength surpassed his by a large margin or the power of their battle skills was significantly greater, there was no way they could defeat Xiao Yin. You too. Mushi's expression darkened as she noticed her companion's retreat. Huang Lei's strength was not to be underestimated, but within this formation, even his power was ineffective. If the two of them decided to leave, her situation would become perilous. As soon as Huang Lei finished speaking, Fengling's eyes flashed with regret, but she swiftly took out a pill the size of a longan fruit. She crushed it, and a peculiar mist instantly erupted, allowing the two of them to vanish from the formation in an instant. Now, we can settle things between us, Xiao Yin said, controlling the fire dragon. A sly grin crept onto his face as he spoke. You little brat, don't get too cocky. One day, Eastern continent will fall completely beneath our feet. Wait and see. Mushi's gaze flickered with uncertainty, but she still spoke confidently. We'll meet again. In the next moment, despite her reluctance, Mushi turned and left. She knew that, in her current state, she was no match for Xiao Yin. Thud. Mushi's figure vanished into the formation space, and Xiao Yin, ever calculating, let them go intentionally. He did not wish to stir up further trouble before the 4 continents competition. Had he chosen to kill them, with the power of his 30,000 core inscriptions, these enemies wouldn't have survived more than 10 moves. Xiao Yin, we'll meet again. I swear I'll make you pay for the humiliation today. And this cage, you may have taken it, but without me, No one can crack it. Ha ha ha. As Mushi left, her maniacal laughter echoed in the formation. Clearly, during the Myriad Treasures assembly, the auctioneer had told her the only way to break the cage. I should have just kept him locked up, Xiao muttered with a shake of his head. Forget it. Let's head back first. Xiao gently dispersed the formation and, carrying the cage, made his way to his residence. Thanks to his immense soul power, he was able to easily avoid many dangers along the way. Where is this? As soon as he returned to his residence, Xiao hurried to his room, setting up a series of defensive barriers. At this moment, the figure trapped in the cage slowly spoke. Don't worry, this is my room, Xiao said with a smile, looking at the young man trapped in the cage. The sense of familiarity from the shared bloodline made Xiao feel quite pleased. Why did you save me? The young man in the cage looked at Xiao, his gaze intense but hesitant, clearly with some doubt in his heart. If I'm not mistaken, you should have the same bloodline power as I do, Xiao said, bending down slightly as he approached the cage. Humph! The young man snorted. I don't want that bloodline. If it weren't for him, how could my mother have died? His eyes burned with fury. I saw him kill my mother with my own eyes. A man like him isn't worthy to be my father. I would rather give up the bloodline than carry it. In the next moment, Xiao Gui's face contorted in rage, a violent aura suddenly erupting from him. When Xiao mentioned the bloodline, he looked as savage as a soul beast. It looks like this guy has been through quite a blow. Xiao sighed, recognizing the young man's unstable emotions. He shook his head and said, Everything has its cause and effect. What you saw may not be the whole truth. It could have been part of someone else's scheme. But, upon hearing this, Xiao Gui's violent aura began to fade. He mumbled to himself, clearly considering Xiao words. Maybe there's some truth to it. Tell me what happened, and I'll help you resolve it, Xiao said, offering a comforting smile. After all, we're from the same bloodline. Back then, the Xiao clan was in turmoil. My father and mother had just met at that time, and a series of events led them together. However, after the Xiao clan was wiped out, only my mother, pregnant with me, was left in the ghost realm, waiting for my father. Soon after the Xiao clan vanished, my father arrived in the ghost realm. He had planned to take my mother and me, but he was discovered by the high-ranking members of the ferocious soul domain, leading to a violent confrontation. I was just a baby at that time, still in swaddling clothes, but I clearly saw my father strike down my mother before leaving. Such a traumatic event. Even after decades, I still remember it vividly. I couldn't bear such a blow. I fled from the ferocious soul domain, wandering aimlessly. Later, I was captured by experts from Soul Heaven, which led to my current situation. Xiao Gui's body was wrapped in a mixture of eerie ghost energy and human emotion, his agitation palpable. Ferocious soul domain? Xiao expression immediately hardened. That's impossible. Our Xiao clan would never have such heartless and ruthless people. But I saw it with my own eyes. Could it be a lie? Xiao Gui snarled, his voice filled with a mix of grief and resentment. I saw my father kill my mother with my own eyes. There's no way it's false. This matter is definitely suspicious. I will help you investigate, Xiao reassured him. Trust me. When I see him again, I will kill him with my own hands. As he listened to Xiao comforting words, Xiao Gui began to calm down. However, the cold, killing intent around him seemed to intensify. By the way, since you say you escaped from the ferocious soul domain, what about your mother? Xiao suddenly asked, as if remembering something. My mother was a disciple of one of the 5 great academies in the ferocious soul domain. She was kind-hearted and never killed innocent creatures, not even an ant, Xiao Gui recalled. The 5 great academies of the ferocious soul domain? Xiao was taken aback. The ferocious soul lord ruled over countless planes, and the ferocious soul domain was responsible for overseeing these realms. The 5 great academies were the highest-ranking powers within the domain, representing the pinnacle of its strength. My mother was the chief disciple of the Earth Spirit Academy. During one of her missions to maintain order in another plane, she saved my father, who was on the brink of death. At that time, the Xiao clan had already become an enemy of the Great Thousand Worlds. My mother, who held great respect for the Xiao clan's resistance against the extraterritorial evil clan, secretly brought my father back to the Earth Spirit Academy, healing his wounds in secret. After she healed him, they developed feelings for each other. My father promised to return and take my mother with him, and so she waited for him. But the good times didn't last. The next time my father returned to the ghost realm, his strength had increased dramatically. In that battle, my father nearly perished. In the end, for some unknown reason, he personally destroyed my mother, and then tore through the dimensional rift to leave the ghost realm. Xiao Gui's expression was unpredictable as he spoke, word by word. Don't worry, this is likely a huge misunderstanding. I'll help you clear it up, Xiao Yin said slowly, looking at Xiao Gui in such a state, offering comfort. However, there were many doubts about Xiao Gui's words. He immediately made a mental note of what Xiao Gui said, knowing that he would give Xiao Gui a satisfactory answer in the future. I'll help you break the cage first. Your aura is unstable, so you need to stabilize it, and then fix your appearance. After the 4 continents competition is over, I'll accompany you to the ferocious soul domain to investigate this matter thoroughly. Xiao Yin smiled. Thank you. But this is my own issue, and the material of this cage is... Xiao Gui was momentarily speechless, but before he could finish, Xiao Yin had already taken action. Boom! A moment later, a brilliant 2-colored sacred flame erupted from within Xiao Yin, which gently wrapped around the cage. The cage instantly began to melt away like a moth to the flame. These are some healing pills. Take them and rest well. After leaving behind some pills, Xiao Yin set up a soul barrier to protect Xiao Gui before slowly exiting the room. Mother, can I really still trust the Xiao clan? Looking at this person from the Xiao clan, my father shouldn't have been so heartless. Could there really be a misunderstanding in all of this? Xiao Gui thought to himself as he watched Xiao Yan's actions, feeling a warmth in his heart. After all, since leaving the ferocious soul domain, countless people had wanted to capture and kill him. Yet no one had treated him like Xiao Yin did, which moved Xiao Gui deeply. Whoosh! The next moment, Xiao Gui swallowed all the pills Xiao Yin left behind, and his aura gradually stabilized. He quietly closed his eyes and rested. Damn little brat. Meanwhile, Mu Shi, who had already returned to her residence, cursed under her breath. Through her connection with the cage, she realized that Xiao Yin had already broken it. Time passed quietly, and before long, there were only 3 days left until the 4 continents competition. During this time, Xiao Yin stayed in his residence, carefully teaching Xiao Gui some basic knowledge of life. As he got to know him better, Xiao Yin also discovered that Xiao Gui had a natural advantage in cultivating both the ghost and vitality powers. After recovering from his injuries, Xiao Gui's strength had reached the rare mid-stage of 3-star Do Xian. This made Xiao Yin feel a little ashamed, and even more surprising, Xiao Gui possessed some extremely unique powers that even the Devourer of Souls could not explain. As the 4 continents competition approached, the entire heavenly nether villa and 4-cornered city became more lively. The competition was not only about the rankings and resource distribution among the 4 continents, but also had an inseparable connection to entering the ferocious soul domain. After all, only by winning or performing exceptionally in the 4 continents competition could one qualify to enter the ferocious soul domain, and once inside, it would mean limitless future potential. This was something the strong for mean soul heaven and the 4 continents eagerly hoped for. At the 4-cornered city, at the Forged Blade Thunder Valley base. Father, did you call for me? In a quiet courtyard, Duan Qifei and Duan Tianhong appeared, and immediately, Duan Qifei spoke up. Since arriving at this base, the many participants from Forged Blade Thunder Valley had stayed in seclusion, focusing on their cultivation. After all, although the eastern continent had abundant energy, it wasn't the most fertile land in the 4 continents. Fair, how is the situation with that thing inside you? Duan Tianhong asked with a smile, though there was still some worry in his heart. After all, the reincarnation fluctuations were a peak existence in the Great Thousand Worlds, and even though Xiao Yin had said it wouldn't affect Duan Qifei, he still had some concerns. Father, don't worry. It's very calm now. As long as I don't face a life-and-death crisis, I won't actively use it, Duan Qifei replied with a playful smile. That's the best. By the way, what has Xiao Yin been doing lately? Why has he been in seclusion for so long? Is he in closed-door training again? Duan Tianhong asked. Probably. It's been a while since I've seen him, Duan Qifei said, shaking her head. Clearly, she hadn't disturbed Xiao Yin since he had been in seclusion. All right, you can go now. Tomorrow is the day the Four Continents competition will be announced. The Four Continents competition, it's going to be a grand event. I hope you all gain something from it. Duan Tianhong smiled. With that, the two of them slowly left. Elsewhere, at the Shi Yun Pavilion base. Bastard! Did someone else steal the human-demon fusion body? In the hall, Mu Yunfei, the head of Shi Yun Pavilion, unleashed a barrage of scolding at Mu Shi. His face, contorted with rage, was filled with bulging veins. If Mu Shi weren't his own offspring, he probably would have slapped him dead on the spot. The value of a human-demon fusion body is extremely high, but the pavilion's treasured immortal arts are also worth a lot. Although precious, they could be exchanged if necessary. After all, if something useful could be extracted from the human-demon fusion body, it would be enough to offset the loss. But now, both the person and the treasure were lost, which drove Mu Yunfei into a fit of rage. He almost wished he could slap Mu Shi to death. Father, that Xiao Yin from the Forged Blade Thunder Valley is extremely cunning. It was he who set me up. This time, during the Four Continents competition, I will make sure to eliminate him completely. Then, everything will belong to us, Mu Shi said, seeing how furious his father was. A trace of fear flashed in his eyes, and he hurriedly tried to explain. You think you have the strength for that? Mu Yunfei sneered coldly. Clearly, from their previous two encounters, he knew that Xiao Yin was no simple opponent. Father, don't we still have that item in the pavilion? Mu Shi asked again. That item is quite special and extremely mysterious, Mu Yunfei replied. In this competition, I will give you that item. But if you fail, don't bother coming back. A cold snort followed his words. Thank you, father. Mu Shi replied, his heart secretly relieved. With that item from Shi Yun Pavilion, he was confident that even if there were 10 Xiao Yans, they would all become mere souls under his command. To the west of Four-Cornered City, in a quiet pavilion nestled in a forest, a middle-aged man sat elegantly, playing a refined guqin. The man exuded an air of calmness as he played the instrument. Master, did you call for me? A young man slowly approached, radiating a scholarly air. He looked like a delicate scholar, carrying a guqin on his back. The instrument, adorned with intricate patterns, was clearly no ordinary piece. Lu Yun, you've been in my sect for several decades now, haven't you? The man playing the guqin spoke gently, his voice calm but filled with a subtle melody that unsettled the listener. His power was unmistakable. He was a formidable 5-star Do Xian. Master, I've been in your sect for 30 years now. My family was destroyed, and I was fortunate enough for you to take me in. Thanks to your teachings, Lu Yun is who he is today. The young man called Lu Yun replied with a smile. However, his words revealed a powerful aura, indicating that the seemingly frail scholar was actually a late 3-star Do Xian. This time, for the Four Continents competition, we will place you in charge of the Tianyin sect's team, with Xing Yun as your assistant, the guqin player continued. Master, I don't deserve such responsibility. Senior sister Xing Yun entered the sect before me. She is far more qualified to lead. If the command is given to me, I'm afraid. Liu Yun's voice trailed off, hesitating. Xing Yun may have entered the sect earlier, but her temperament, combined with the fact that she is a woman, makes it clear that she cannot manage the big picture. Therefore, this important task must fall to you, the middle-aged man explained with sincerity. But what about senior sister Xing Yun? Lu Yun asked, unsure. Don't worry. I will explain it to her. This time, the Four Continents competition is unprecedented. The Eastern continent has several exceptionally talented individuals, and the Western continent also has some extraordinarily powerful forces. Even the Northern continent has several dominating factions. This competition will not be easy. Our Tianyin sect has not had a disciple enter the ferocious soul domain for a long time. Whether we can re-enter depends on you. The man playing the guqin said with a smile. Master, I will not disappoint you, Lu Yun replied, nodding solemnly. A determined look filled his eyes. The Tianyin sect is considered one of the most powerful forces in the Western continent. Their mastery of ancient guqin music techniques is unrivaled. Lu Yun and Xingyun are two of the most talented disciples of the sect. As the competition drew closer, the various factions began to stir. To the north of Four-Cornered City, the strongest forces of the northern continent reside. Though the northern continent is filled with numerous powers, only a handful can truly be called rulers. These few factions are the real masters of the Yin Soul Heaven. In the Phantom Valley, a mysterious force thrives. It is said that its first-generation leader was a powerful cultivator of dark attributes from the ferocious soul domain. The dark attribute is a rather mysterious power, treacherous and deceitful by nature. Even in the vast expanse of the Great Thousand Worlds, it is extremely rare. However, the dark attribute possesses a deeply enigmatic trait. It can better conceal its presence while harboring an incredibly destructive force. Its more mysterious qualities remain unknown, and it is said to be guided by the Dark Lord from the Dark Dimension and the Nether King. Although the legends surrounding the rulers of the Dark Dimension and the Nether King have always been nothing more than tales, with no one ever having confirmed their existence, rumors suggest that they may not be the same person. These two figures appear to be the highest beings of the Dark Dimension, with power comparable to that of other great beings, such as the Devourer of Souls. The truth behind these rumors, however, remains uncertain. Master. In a dark, ancient room with wooden doors, a pair of eyes glowed with strange light, slowly coming to life. Tianju, you've arrived. A faint, aged figure stirred in the darkness as a voice, as clear as a bell, echoed. This slight movement, though simple, radiated an overwhelming aura of pressure, indicating the immense strength of the elderly figure. What is it that you wish of me, Master? The young man spoke slowly, his voice steady. Our ghost Shadow Valley has failed to send disciples into the ferocious soul domain several times now. We cannot afford to fail again, the elder began. Moreover, there have been prophecies within the valley that only by re-entering the ferocious soul domain will we find a chance to locate the entrance to the netherworld. And once we find the entrance to the netherworld, it is said that our ghost Shadow Valley will be capable of standing at the peak of the Seven Realms. The elder's voice grew fervent, excitement glowing in his eyes. Entering the ferocious soul domain to find the entrance to the netherworld. Tianju frowned, murmuring to himself. The netherworld's location is shrouded in mystery, and even within the Great Thousand Worlds, few know its exact whereabouts. However, it is known that the netherworld is ruled by darkness and countless undead creatures, making it one of the most formidable regions in the Great Thousand Worlds. The Ghost Shadow Valley has inherited much of the power of darkness, and if they can step into the netherworld, they will gain even greater power. Master, I will do my best. If anyone stands in our way, they will be eliminated, Tianju said coldly, a note of arrogance in his voice, revealing that he had reached the level of a perfect 3-star Dou-Xian. Go now. The real battle will begin after the rules for the competition are announced tomorrow, the elder instructed, his voice once again calming the surroundings. Nether King, where are you? As your faithful followers, we must find the entrance to the netherworld. A strange, dark power surged once more in the room. Myriad Souls Palace. At that moment, atop a quiet mountain behind the palace, 2 young disciples appeared. The 2 disciples exuded an aura of righteousness, resembling mighty heroes, unmistakably powerful figures. The Myriad Souls Palace, known for its righteous ways, was highly respected by many powerful figures in Yin Soul Heaven. Junior brother, the 4 continents competition is about to begin, the slightly older disciple remarked, glancing at the vast, starry night sky, his voice tinged with a trace of coldness. Of course, in the 4 continents competition, there will be both wins and losses, the younger disciple replied, sensing the elder's mood. But why the sigh, senior brother? He asked in confusion. The four continents competition is always a brutal affair, with rivers of blood flowing. If I had a choice, I would rather not participate in such a contest, the older disciple sighed deeply. I remember last time, we fought with the ghost Shadow Valley for the only spot, and both senior brothers perished. The cost was too great, he recalled, his voice somber. Let it be. Didn't Master say that life and death are fated, and wealth and power lie in the heavens? There's no need to worry, senior brother. The younger disciple comforted him, though he seemed to have little understanding of the elder's concern. Then may our sect emerge victorious this time. The older disciple smiled and nodded. The two of them shared a look of confidence, each one at the peak of 3-star Docian. Soul Beast Alliance. Father, I won't make you worry about this four continents competition, said a young man confidently in a lavish room, sitting with a middle-aged man. Both exuded an air of authority, a symbol of wealth and power. With the special soul beast you've bred for me and my current strength, no one can stand in our way, the young man said with a proud smile. The Soul Beast Alliance was well known throughout Soul Heaven. They were responsible for breeding and cultivating soul beasts, using them as weapons of immense power. The newly cultivated soul beast has impressive strength, but we must not be complacent. This time, the four continents competition must be approached with full effort. Only by entering the ferocious soul domain will I feel at ease. The middle-aged man spoke softly, clearly indicating that even the wealthy Soul Beast Alliance viewed the four continents competition as highly significant. After all, it was a major event that would lead to a significant reshuffling of the power rankings in Soul Heaven, making it of utmost importance. Yes, Father. After speaking, the two of them laughed. The newly cultivated soul beasts from the Soul Beast Alliance were special, as they had been infused with traces of dragon blood, and dragons held a dominant position among soul beasts. With their strength at the level of perfected 3-star Docian, they naturally had great confidence in the upcoming competition. Meanwhile, in the northernmost, most remote part of Four-Cornered City, deep within a forest densely covered with trees, several figures slowly appeared. Within the forest, dozens of pale-faced figures stood motionless, their appearance almost non-human. In the center of these figures, there was a strange, cyan-colored palanquin, and one of the figures at its center appeared deathly pale, as if an undead, frail and devoid of any vitality. Lord, we have a message from headquarters. In the next moment, a surge of dark, ghostly energy appeared, taking the shape of a shadowy figure who materialized beside the palanquin. The sect leader has ordered you to cooperate with the Hidden Soul Society to capture someone named Xiao from Eastern Continent. A sinister laugh echoed from the black mist, and as it spoke, a silver scroll floated toward the figure, with Xiao details clearly written on it. A mere early-stage 3-star Docian. Is he really worth my effort as a perfected 3-star Docian? The undead figure cast a glance at the scroll, and upon seeing Xiao power, a look of disdain appeared on his already pale face. Did the sect leader and those from the Hidden Soul Society not eat enough? The undead figure's face twisted in disgust upon reading Xiao information, but the black mist replied, the sect leader has said that this person is not to be underestimated. Do not be careless. After finishing, the black mist instantly disappeared. Great heavenly seed. Soul power. Looks like this person is interesting. The undead murmured, his eyes shifting. Let's go. As his words ended, the undead's eyes shifted once more, revealing the details of Xiao. The dozens of puppets around him began to move, lifting the palanquin and heading toward a specific direction. This person's strength was not only at the level of perfected 3-star Docian, but he was also a true genius from the notorious Thousand Puppets ghost sect in the northern continent. A native of the ghost realm, he harbored deep resentment toward the foreign humans from Soul Heaven and had secretly engaged in actions that enraged both gods and men. In addition, many other forces were involved, but only the ones mentioned above were the true core powers behind this four continents competition.